Wembley Stadium almost 100 games later, those expectations boil down to the outcome of one match, the playoff final. Both clubs, both managers have sampled Wembley highs and lows in recent years. Tranmere were beaten here just last weekend by Birmingham in the Leyland Daft Cup final. A year ago, they lost the playoff final to Notts County, conquerors of Bolton in last season's semi-final. This time, both Bolton and Tranmere made it through the semis, but only just. Mark Seagraves, the centre-half, is on the near post. Phil Brown, the right-back, is on the edge of the six-yard box. Philliskirk's in there too. So too Cunningham arriving. Header away, forced back in by Derby. Might come for Philliskirk! The third division's leading goal scorer scores the most important goal of Bolton's bid to get out of the third division.
Still Tranmere search for the first goal. I know it would be so important in the overall context. Thomas with a lot of space this time. Cooper and the deflection is going to be a goal. Tranmere have the lead.
Priceless semi-final goals from Jed Brannan and Tony Philliskirk that made reservations for Tranmere and Bolton at Wembley Stadium this afternoon. Today's Soccer Special on Granada resolves the final issue of the third division season. It's the promotion playoff final, Bolton Wanderers versus Tranmere Rovers. Also in the programme, a report on Blackpool's bid to reach the third division through the Wembley playoffs last night. Today's managers Phil Neal and Johnny King have spent a season trying to avoid the playoffs, but with automatic promotion just eluding them, their brief today was simple.
There's no more games after today, so we're just looking forward to it, and hopefully we can commit ourselves as we have done for the last 48 games. So, no, we're looking forward to this one.
There's not a better place in the world to come and play your football, and obviously we're very, very proud to be performing on here today.
It's even better if you win.
Well, obviously, at this stage of the season, it doesn't matter how you play, you've got to win.
We've had some great games the last 3 or 4 years, and as I say, hopefully this one's as entertaining. Not too entertaining, no, I just hope that Bolton Wanderers win.
What would second division football mean to Tranmere Rovers?
Everything. We've worked so hard for 3 years to come from the fourth, hoping for the first, and you know, we were virtually there last season and missed it. It was a big sickener for us. Here we are again, knocking on the door, and I hope it opens today.
Two of the best banked teams in the third division, both with average gates around the 7,000 mark, and both drawing comfortably twice that number to Wembley today. Bolton field the team that got them to Wembley. It includes the only 3 players in the final who've never played here before, teenage defender Alan Stubbs, and most surprisingly their experienced strike force of Tony Cunningham and Tony Philliskirk. 20 years in the game between them, 13 different clubs, but neither has ever made it to Wembley before. Philliskirk, the third division's leading scorer, vowed never even to visit the stadium unless he was playing. Well, today's the day for him. 21-year-old Sean Garnett has been drafted into the Tranmere defence in preference to Steve Vickers. Johnny King's other big decision was over a replacement for the injured Neil McNabb, and Dave Martindale got the vote ahead of captain Jimmy Harvey. The club's record goal scorer Ian Muir, one of the absentees on the Rovers casualty list. Here's Muir's deputy, Steve Cooper, signed from second division Barnsley this season, and after a slow start, scorer of 5 precious goals during the closing month of the season. Keith Hackett is the man in charge, and it's worth considering that Notts County, who won this playoff final 12 months ago, return to Wembley tomorrow with a chance to step up to the first division. It can all happen that quickly. Steve Bungall on the left and Neil McNabb on the right, 2 of the senior Tranmere players sitting out the final through injury. 2 teams all geared up to play their football in the second division. Both have the support, both have the facilities. Neither is short on potential, but only one of them will be promoted. Defeat's going to be a very difficult thing for the other to stomach. Another season in the third will seem almost like relegation. Barry Cowdrill, the oldest man on the field at 34. Headed by Dave Higgins, who's penalised. These playoff finals are the biggest poker games in town this weekend. Tranmere have staked a £10,000 a man bonus on winning. 4 years ago, they had to win a match just to stay in the Football League, so they're no strangers to this particular version of Russian roulette. But this was as far as they got last year, remember. Young Sean Garrett, who's been brought in to keep an eye on Tony Cunningham. Eric Nixon, Tranmere's goalkeeper captain. Headed by Jim Steele. Phil Brown calmly back to give David Felgate his first touch. Cowdrill. Looking for Phyllis Kirk. Dave Higgins is the man picking him up. And Phyllis Kirk's forced to throw. Maybe with the help of a little nudge in the back for Higgins. Julian Darby will take it. Long towards Phyllis Kirk. And Mark Hughes is up with him. And Bolton Wanderers have the first corner. Hughes, who operates as a sweeper behind the two markers, Higgins and Garnett. Bolton have Mark Seagraves forward on the near post. Brown back to Thompson, in goes Seagraves, Steele's back with him. And here's Dave Martindale. Steele, given away to Darby. Run back by Irons. Cooper, Thomas. Offside against Jed Brannan. And that gives you some idea of how fluid the Tranmere system is. Their left back here, 19-year-old Jed Brannan, the furthest man forward. He is, to all intents and purposes, a midfield player. Headed by Higgins. Steve Cooper. Dave Martindale. Seagraves firmly in on Steele once more. Steele's still down. Steve Thompson goes on. Looking to get Storer in behind Brannan. He needs support. It's an awkward cross for Eric Nixon. He had to deal with it. Had to watch that very carefully, the Tranmere Rovers goalkeeper. In the end, he just couldn't take any risks with it. It was a hit and hope from Stuart Storer. And all his hopes were almost realised. Eric Nixon, who was his fellow professional's choice as the PFA's third division goalkeeper of the year. Not often you see Jim Steele down. And there's a little bit of concern there over Steele's right leg. Kenny Jones, the Tranmere Rovers trainer. Certainly Seagraves was standing no nonsense. He's gone about his task very firmly indeed, and he just landed awkwardly on Steele's leg. Brown and Stubbs are forward on the near post. Headed by Mark Hughes. Time for Jed Brannan. Not that much, though. But Tranmere Rovers have a real worry about Jim Steele, and it looks like Chris Malkin is going to be called into the action. Steele is labouring. Eric Nixon kicking the ball dead. And after just 13 minutes of the final, Jim Steele, who got Tranmere Rovers winner here in the Freight Rover final last year, has to be substituted. At least they have a ready-made replacement for him. The pacey front-runner Chris Malkin, who really is a winger by trade but prefers to play down the centre, and that's where he'll play now alongside Steve Cooper. Beaten to it by Seagraves. Here's Julian Darby. Barry Cowdrill, who's seen plenty of the ball down the left-hand side. Enjoying his little excursions into Tranmere territory. Cunningham so strong in possession. Thompson finding Comstead. Hughes beating Philliskirk to it. Higgins. Cooper. On for Chris Malkin. It might even fall for Kenny Irons. He's beaten Brown to it! Good effort by